Chances are, you've seen this viral TikTok video on your For You page before. But did you know the man in this video actually works here at City High? He used to work at Washington High School, but transferred here last year. He has 1.5 million followers.
I'm Joe Sloma, and I teach English 10 and AP Lang here at City. It's from a book by Thomas Pynchon called Mason and Dixon. It's just like a postmodern novel that I've always particularly liked, and there's a quirky character in there who has that name. So it's a good question. I think for the skits, I mostly just try to think of some sort of trope or common universal happening in the classroom, and usually come up with some sort of conflict that I think is recognizable to people, to students and teachers, and then I just start writing it. So I just will I know like the characters I have, and they each have like a certain attitude or way they behave, and so I just say, well, what would characters in this situation do? That's kind of how it goes. Ooh, that varies a lot. If it's a video that goes well, then the script I can write real quickly in a couple hours, probably film it in a couple hours and edit it in a couple hours. So on the low end, it's probably like 5 or 6 total. But sometimes I'll have writer's block, and I'll just be thinking for like a long time and rewriting. So like this year has been sometimes weeks between videos for that reason, where I'll just have an idea but not really know what to do with it and set it aside. So as far as actual time goes, it can be weeks before I like solve a plot hole or something like that. Well, the Shakespeare quotes are they're from the King Lear play I've taught for a large number of years in my career that I just really like. As far as an overall message that I have in the videos, I think that I want to explore how students and teachers see each other and themselves in school as honestly as possible, if that makes sense.
I'm impersonating a more energetic version of myself, who I envy and despise,
while not targeting either with scorn or derision. Kind of just like, what is school really like for kids if they were given a chance to voice it, and how do teachers actually see that? My process doesn't pivot around some organizing principle like that. It's more just, I think that's probably what it tends to be. Really, I'm just trying to like write stories, I think. It's kind of fun. It's different than actual fame, that's for sure. Like, I think that the number of TikTok followers you have doesn't always correspond with like something in your lived experience. I kind of get recognized every now and then, which is cool. I can tell, or like the people who might recognize me are like a certain demographic. They're usually younger or have something to do with education. So aside from every now and then, like a few dozen times in several years, I've like been approached and they've been like, hey, like you're that guy on TikTok, and I've been like, yeah, that's me. But other than that, it's doesn't materially change much. I think that's cute. If that's what's happened, I do. Yeah. It's probably like a couple hundred per video, which, since I only make a video every several weeks, it's like a decent amount, but it also of course varies on how well the video does.
It is now 4:15 p.m.
And I've always been somewhat confused by like the exact monetization process, and like which views merit you exactly how much. So it's actually kind of a mystery. It's like, it feels like you're kind of rolling the dice. The Quiet Kid, yeah, I started, this was like a couple years ago, that when my channel was first like getting up off the ground, I think I was mostly doing trends and things like this. And then I tried to make a skit, and it worked really well, and it just had to do with a character who was this quieter student, and I had been trying to like find something from their vantage that was perhaps not as readily seen by the other people in a given classroom. So when those videos started doing well, I just kept making them, and that character became like a main archetype. I moved on to different kinds of skits, but kept that student in them, I guess. I think that character who has seemed to take off more hits for maybe a certain section of my audience because that is typically the archetype of student who feels least seen or least understood. And so if there's a successful video with that character, I think the people who see themselves in them really appreciate that or like to feel seen. Whereas a lot of the other characters that I make tend to be maybe more bombastic or loud. And those are the kids who I think take up more space in a given classroom in a given day. And so representing how they see things isn't as necessary, whereas it's not missing from media as much maybe as it would be from a quieter kid. So I think when I was making a lot of quiet kid videos, I was just really interested in this archetype of student and finding true things about them and what their life might be like in a classroom. Yes, that was sent to me on an email address that I have on my channel, and that person reached out and said that I remember reading that and was very moved, and I thought it was just a really, really sweet and thoughtful and well-written piece. But yeah, I think I haven't gotten much stuff like that, and I tend not to really engage a whole lot. But when I saw the essay, I couldn't help but read the essay, just since I'm an English teacher, right? So, but yeah, that was very cool. Noah should be writing more. Sent a reply, and I was like, it feels like you understand this better than I do. I don't know, I think I have mixed feelings on the TikTok ban. If obviously I don't want it to happen, but if it does, I think I'm kind of resigned to it. At least personally, I feel like I've had a decent run and it's been plenty of fun. And if I ever did get if I ever felt like the medium was getting stale, it'd be nice to not have to make that choice personally if it went away. But as it stands day to day, I sure hope it doesn't go away. I think that it's like an awesome place for creators to put themselves out there and like get exposure and tell stories, etc., etc. So fingers crossed.